And then we go over to Carson Wentz. So reports came out saying that Carson Wentz and the Indianapolis Colts are trying to either cut him or trade him by like the trade deadline. Oh no, by like March 3rd or something. You know, it's crazy how just Yeah, you remember I was one of the people that said Dan Orlowski, who was very vocal about Matthew Stafford. Dan Orlowski, one of the people that was talking about Carson Wentz, saying that this could be a huge move. Carson Wentz had some moments, but Carson Wentz has turned into the quarterback that you cannot win with them as their starting quarterback. At least win big, because the Indianapolis Colts made huge moves this year, like with their defense, with their running game. A lot of people said all they needed was a quarterback, and they didn't even make the playoffs when they had like a 90% chance, and they lost to the Jags the final game because of how bad Carson Wentz played. Now, I'm not saying it's all because of Carson Wentz, but mainly it was because of Carson Wentz. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hearing maybe Washington. I don't know. That's crazy that I'm hearing that the two quarterbacks that are pretty much like on Washington's radar is Carson Wentz and Jimmy Garoppolo. And they're willing to give a first round pick, that 11th pick. I don't know, man. It sucks for Carson. It sucks for Carson. We are never seeing the MVP caliber Carson again. I don't believe it. I mean, because you thought this was the year to do that, because you're pairing him back with Frank Reich, who when they were last together, Carson Wentz had his best season. And you thought it was a mental thing. Okay, you're pairing back with Frank Wright. He's familiar with Frank Wright. They have a strong relationship. This should be good. We should get Carson Wentz the MVP. There was a time when he was the clear-cut MVP until he got hurt. So you think, all right, you pair him with Frank Reich back. You know, you have a good offensive line. You have a great running game. You have a great defense. You have pieces. You have, Michael Pittman. Like, you have great pieces around him, and Carson Wentz still crap the bed. I don't know I'm not saying this is it for Carson Wentz, because Carson Wentz can still be a serviceable quarterback, but it's kind of been proven now that you're not a Super Bowl caliber team with Carson Wentz, and that is because you had everything that you say. When you look at Lamar Jackson, you say, what does Lamar Jackson not have? Lamar Jackson doesn't really have a solid number one receiver. It could be Rashad Bateman. It's definitely not Hollywood Brown. Right now, his number one target is Mark Andrews, who's a tight end. People say that if he just gets a number one receiver, that'll just completely open up the Ravens' offensive attack. And they could even be better, or they could, with all the people coming back from injury, they could be a hell of a lot better and have a hell of a lot better chance of making the Super Bowl if he just gets a number one receiver that can create separation. Carson Wentz has that. Michael Pittman. Hell, he has a decent number two right now in Zach Pascal. So that's why it just feels like it seems like Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz is your starting quarterback, you're not a Super Bowl contending team, because you can have everything. The Indianapolis Colts have everything that you need, everything, and they didn't even make the playoffs. They have everything. They have a number one receiver. They have a number one running back. They have an incredible defense, an incredible secondary, a good coach, a good offensive line, and they still didn't make the playoffs. So, yeah. If Carson Wentz is your starting quarterback, you're not a championship team because of Carson Wentz.